What's good? I'm Brilliance Proper, and I'm not over the conversation about having an adult contemporary or traditional rap label, so let's get into it. All right, so I've always been in favor of a new category in rap for a few years now. The first time I think I came across the idea was on Twitter a few years back when Skyzoo put this up on Twitter, asking about the Grammys adding a new category for underground rap albums in 2021. He went on to reiterate this at the 2023 Grammys, and this year the conversation jumped into full throttle with Ninth Wonder and even Q-Tip jumping in with their takes. So what do I think? The short answer is yes. I mean, we should obviously have a new category for rap, if not more than one. I want to break down exactly why I believe so, why it will be beneficial for the music and culture, and then I want to discuss the name. Reason number one that we should have more rap categories is because, truth be told, rap is somewhat the only genre that doesn't have a main one in award categories. Even though we designate new ones regularly within our own circles, I actually think it's weird that people object to hearing something like adult contemporary or traditional rap when we've been naming these things forever. A lot of the late 80s and early 90s MCs didn't like to be designated as gangster rappers and instead wanted it to be called reality rap or something like that. But truthfully, the name fit and it's still one we use today. Since then, we've had conscious rap, Miami bass, underground, indie, crunk, chopped and screwed, art rap, drill, jazz rap, mumble rap, and of course, trap, amongst many others. And that's the great thing about them is that every name I listed off, you can hear the difference between them in your head. You know a Miami bass song doesn't sound like a drill song. An indie rapper like MF Doom doesn't sound anything like a DJ Screwtape. And both of those sound different than the first two KMD albums. As production evolves, along with a range of subject matter, we end up in new territory for what rap is, what it can do, and new entry points for people who want to listen. Someone can be turned off by drill but love jazz rap. Someone who loves trap isn't always into traditional boom bap and vice versa. But at the end of the day, they're all versions of rap music within hip hop. These are all good things. As mentioned before, we're the only ones who seem to be okay with not expanding a little bit more in our naming. And this is kind of weird when other genres have been doing it forever. And I think rap gets caught up in it because everyone is considered a rapper, which to me is nuts because everyone else is a singer and we're not tripping that they don't make the same type of music. You could be a jazz singer, a soul singer, or a rock singer, an opera singer. The list goes on and on. As rappers, anyone can be a trap rapper, a party rapper, or a traditional rapper. The list is just as expansive, and why shouldn't it be? Our people invented a new culture and category of music. Everyone else is a singer, so we should be as diverse as rappers. And we already see ourselves this way, so why not just make it official? Reason number two is that it's pretty insulting and limiting not to. If you've been paying any attention to the conversations recently, you'll have heard a certain through line about competing with new rappers. And yes, this is true, but it's not just that. Rap, hip hop, it's always been seen as a culture in arrested development. All my life, I've heard that hip hop is for the youth. And while it can be, what are we supposed to do when we get older? Think about this scenario. I'm 42 years old as of 2024. I was coming of age in the late 90s with Mobb Deep, who are only 8 years older than me, Jay-Z, Biggie, who died at 24, and many others who I admired at the time. Truth be told, as much as I love the old music, I've outgrown most of it and their messages. Some are still universal, but I'm a divorced father of two. None of them are making music for me now. I relate to those closer to my age and my current period in life. Prodigy specifically states he's 19 in Shook Ones Part 2. My oldest daughter is 20. Imagine me saying that an album made for someone younger than her is the definitive music for her father. You see what I mean? Saying rap music and as a whole our culture can only be for the young and you age out of it is ridiculous and insulting. There's no expiration date on creativity. In fact, true creatives don't run out of that spark. No one is supposed to drop the mic at 30, and as time has proven over and over again, the best MCs are over 40. Your current faves that are in their late 20s and 30s now will eventually be post 40, and then what? Do you want them to stop rapping just because a bunch of white execs and said older rappers shouldn't be popular? Fuck out of here. A lot of rappers get smarter as they get older, and they're not gonna fall for the same old bullshit that major labels are feeding them. So you cycle younger people in without the knowledge of their predecessors, and it just continues to trend. And I'm not saying all older rappers are the best, but counting them out because of age isn't helping anyone who wants to have a lifelong career in music. As I explained before when discussing Andre 3000's new direction, I do want to hear older rappers talk about their day-to-day lives. I do want to hear some creative songs about how mundane life is and doing better when it comes to health. We've had an ungodly amount of figures in hip-hop that have passed away too early. At the time of me writing this, Rich Homie Quan and Fat Man Scoop both just died out of nowhere. We should absolutely have songs about colonoscopies, heart health, and better living. These things exist, but not in abundance, and truth be told, these stories don't need to be aimed specifically at the youth. And neither does the style of production, although it is the blueprint of the music for hip-hop. Just because it's been around the longest doesn't mean it goes away. It just stops from being the hottest thing. And in the words of Pause the News,
everyone cools off for being hot. It's about if you can handle being cold or not.
This brings me to my third reason, and that is we should be encouraged, as well as other musicians, to make the music we see fit without having to feel like we're competing with kids that are hell-bent on misunderstanding us. Something I've really hated about major awards intermingling when it comes to rap is hearing from the general public that they're not familiar with the artists that are nominated. While it's frustrating to hear that they don't know veterans and legends, it's not like this stuff is catered to them. As much as I want to be mad that some 22-year-old doesn't know who Killer Mike is, Mike's first album dropped in 2003 when that same kid was 1, and Mike is not making music to his taste, and that's fine. It'd be cool if we could all listen to similar things, but the beauty of choice is just that. Choice. Freedom of choice specifically. One of the best examples I can give regarding how adult contemporary traditional rap shouldn't be classified is basically the same as through this TV show, The Bear. I've only seen a handful of episodes of that show, but I know that show was a drama with some funny moments sprinkled in. Yet somehow it's listed as a comedy when it comes to classifications and awards and keeps sweeping in categories against Abbott Elementary and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, when it has more in common with The Sopranos and Breaking Bad than any of those other shows. It's okay to differentiate. Here are some of the Grammy categories from this year. Best Jazz Vocal Album. Best Musical Theater Album, Best Regional Roots Album, Best Engineered Album Non-Classical, Best Baby-Inspired Audiobook, Best Solo Classic Vocal Album. Do you know all of the winners of those categories? Do you even know all the nominees? Additionally, do you know which one of these I made up? Why or why not? And it's because we're not the target audience for every single genre and subgenre of music, and that's fine. It's the same reason we're supposed to trust the experts when it comes to their field of study. You go to a baker about bread, you go to a lawyer about the law. Some of y'all go to Facebook for science, but you're supposed to trust scientists first, not your aunt who isn't aware that the AI images she's sharing aren't real. And at the 2021 Grammys, D-Smoke, Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist, Nas, Jay Electronica, and Royce da 5'9" were all nominated for Best Rap Album. Lots of young people, as well as the wider public, had no idea who most of them were or that they had albums to be nominated. That year specifically would have been perfect for an adult contemporary or traditional rap category. Just like with other genres, the experts in that type of rap could have their niche while more mainstream acts could have their own. Why wouldn't you want to acknowledge these people separate from categories where the material is the equivalent of The Bear being classified as a comedy? Traffic is backed up, the lane has already been created, now just open it up and let the rest flow through a little bit easier. Plus, we could stop hearing the old head haters talk about there not being any good rap anymore since it's all mixed in with the rest of it. You've been in the wrong section, Unc. Like, you can go ahead and get up out of there. The good stuff, the stuff that you're looking for, it's over here. Nas can collab with Lil Nas X and call it a rap song, but they do not make the same type of rap music, and with that, the pressure would be gone to cater to kids. In the last couple of months, LL Cool J, one of the first rap solo acts, released an album about 40 years after the beginning of his career, and it sounds great to those of us whose music it's catered to. MC Lyte, who dropped her first album in the 80s at 17 years old, just put out a new album as well, and Juicy J of the legendary 3-6 Mafia dropped a surprise boom bap and jazz-inspired rap album sounding almost nothing like material he's put out before, entering his 4th decade in rap. These artists are in their late 40s and mid-50s and have no plans on slowing down their output, so why should they? Creativity has no age limit, and as long as that spark is there, no one can tell you not to create. They made music as teens, and as they got older, they decided that they still had more to say, and I respect the direction they've taken now instead of trying to make the newest hit to appeal to kids who quite literally could be their grandchildren. And I'm not gonna lie, some musicians can stay relevant in the mainstream for decades. It's weird when they're not being themselves but chasing trends though. I do not want to hear a 53-year-old MC trying to rhyme and be like a 24-year-old. I have kids, and as much as I love them, I don't take certain critiques from them seriously because I'm their father and we have different priorities. I think it's fantastic that they love some of the older music I've introduced them to and listen to some of the stuff in the mainstream as well, but we all know that we're gonna gravitate towards what works for us, and the fact that we have choices and categories to draw a sort of line in the sand works well for me. Rappers and MCs 40 and up are doing the craft justice. Remember the growth Jay-Z showed on 444? Have you heard the Auditorium from Common and Pete Rock? Blue has dropped 4 projects this year, and on each one he has new insights that he didn't have on Below the Heavens. And then creatively, Skyzoo, one of my favorite all-time MCs, made a concept album called The Mind of Saint, where he raps from the perspective of Franklin Saint from Snowfall. Then after the show ended, he added additional songs to wrap up the end of the series. Lupe Fiasco released an album where he raps from the perspective of Amy Winehouse as a battle rapper. And my all-time, all-around favorite MC, Fonte of Little Brother, consistently shows his growth. In the early days of Little Brother, he and rapper Big Pooh rhymed as the hungry little brothers of the native tongues for the soul of hip-hop, bringing the keep it real ethos into the 2000s. As time passed, though, he's not only shown how sharp his pen is as an MC, but he discusses issues with health on the song Expensive Jeans, Infidelity on Who Loves You More. Plus, he's an accomplished singer with the group Foreign Exchange, even his solo work, and has a song called Sweet You where he talks about his wedding day to his second wife on a song that samples his own R&B song from Foreign Exchange. That's a well-rounded MC. I love that Doechii came over and mostly made a more traditional rap album with Alligator Bites Never Heal. I saw some people bemoan the fact that she took a more traditional approach this time around in order to be seen as a more serious rapper, but to me that doesn't stop her from being able to create in other rap genres. Just know that this will appeal more to me than maybe others, but also maybe her other projects will appeal to me as well because I used her traditional material in this album as an entry point. As long as it's sincere and quality music, I'm good with the genre hopping. Just don't be on some Miley Cyrus and Post Malone shit and talk down to us. Then we'll have a fucking problem. As I was finishing up the edit for this video, I got the news that Kasim Ryan, aka Ka, passed away on October 12th, but the news hit on the 14th. He was 52 years young. Ka was never the most popular MC, but he wasn't trying to be. He aimed to write the best rhymes and create thought-provoking music that would have to be deciphered for decades to come. Ka embodied adult contemporary rap music, and this the best example I can give for why aging in rap needs to be the standard. Ka himself stated that he didn't want to be a 30-year-old rapper, initially starting his career in the 90s with a group called Natural Elements. He left the group and was mostly silent until he dropped his first album, Ironworks, in 2008 at the age of 36. He was largely silent again until he released his follow-up album, Grief Pedigree, in 2012 at age 40. Then he got a major feature on the GZA album, Pro Tools, with the song Firehouse in 2013. Over the years, he released 11 different albums, his most recent one, The Thief Next to Jesus, back in August at age 52. He was also able to sustain his output of music as he was a New York City firefighter for over 20 years, even making Captain. As a result, Ka never made music because he was obligated to by a label. He self-released every project himself. His job was firefighter. It funded his pursuits as an MC and gave him time to breathe and craft the best music possible. He never chased any trends, and one of the reasons he was so good at what he did was because his focus was solely on being the best MC.
If you coming to me for party songs, don't come to me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, if you're like, I love my music, like very exciting, and I'm not your dude, all right? I'm not him. You just lost your uncle, your favorite uncle, and you about to start, like, you just want to know, like, that, can somebody get through this pain? Yes, you listen to me, and I've been through that, and we get through it together. That's what I feel like I am.
Ka's musical output is what I spent most of this video discussing. Someone who didn't make popular music, didn't make it to appeal to kids or 20-year-olds, but was loved by the older generation who got it and still made upper echelon music at the end of his short life, but still older than what we're told someone should be in rap. When I play Ka, it's dark outside, it may be cold, and sometimes I'm not in the best mood. His music can be depressing to some, but it's always insightful. What type of art does one make when they hit a certain age and still want to create? And even if it's not popular to make it, do you still do it?
Are you prepared to do what you're doing when it ain't cool no more? That's a passion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what I'm doing necessarily ain't cool no more. Writing rhymes and shit as a 40-year-old man, that ain't cool. You know, for some, it's cool. For me, I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it fucked up. But like, whatever the hot genre is right now and everybody's doing it, are you gonna be prepared to do that when it ain't cool no more? And when you like a weirdo doing, like, it might be somebody right now in their house, a 60-year-old man that's still doing disco. That shit ain't cool no more, but he loved that shit. And I gotta salute that man for that. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm the 40-year-old still fucking rapping. Like, you know, and it took me a long time and support from people that love me. This is, yo, man, you good.
Ka earned the utmost respect from anyone who engaged with his music and even got to speak with him directly. Every interview he gave is filled with gems, and every album is a goldmine. Ka is someone who would benefit from having a category that he would sweep each time he released an album, but too humble to submit his work or show up for the award. He was the people's MC, a true adult and now a legend whose work will undoubtedly become more popular in the wake of his passing, similar to J Dilla and MF Doom before him. And I'm okay with that. More people should be exposed to adults who still are at the top of their game post 40, post 50, and beyond, still rapping and showing that the only obligation is to make good music that you can stand behind at any age. Rest in peace to Brownsville's own Ka. Peace to his family. Peace to hip hop. Peace to you and yours. And I'll see you next time.